What we're going to look at is the effect of the self-fulfilling prophecy on the organization. So we're going to address the types of self-fulfilling prophecy, what it presents, and the effects it has on organizational behavior. The definition of self-fulfilling prophecy is that it's a tendency of our expectations to foster the behavior that's consistent with our expectations. And we're going to present, today we're going to do Grace Powell, Monica, Kale, and Dan are going to help me with this presentation and try to get you to understand that concept and how it relates to the book. What we did was we came up with this graph, which is showing the effects of self-fulfilling prophecy, which is a circular self-perpetuating cycle. And the Pygmalion effect is actually one of the ways that self-fulfilling prophecy has been used to describe a self-fulfilling prophecy. And just a little background, the Pygmalion effect comes from Greek myth from the Prince of Cyprus, who had created a statue of a woman, and he fell in love with the statue and thought it to be the ideal woman for himself. So what he did was he begged the gods to make her real, which they did. And they had a perfect life together, and he always believed that because she was a perfect woman, the thought process is that his expectation of her being a perfect woman and him being so in love with her, that her behavior reflected his expectation. And that's exactly what self-fulfilling prophecy does. Our behavior and our expectations of others kind of impacts the way we act towards them, their actions, and which will reinforce what we believe about ourselves. And on this graph, we can actually go in at any point. We can have people having beliefs about us, which will cause them to behave in a certain way towards us. By behaving in that way, it reinforces our beliefs about ourselves, because we feed into those same expectations of meaning and transparency in ourselves. And that influences our actions to others, and that impacts, again, the way others believe. So it's just a constant cycle, and it keeps going on. So that's really what happens in the expectations and the belief cycle when we interact with each other, even personally or within an organization. But on a whole, that's the cycle of self-fulfilling prophecy.
So there are two types of self-fulfilling prophecies. The first one is self-imposed prophecies that occur when your own expectations influence your behavior. So in other words, causing something to happen by believing it will come true. Self-imposed affects everyday communication. We all had the experience of waking up in a bad mood and saying, this is going to be a really bad day. After we made such a decision, we may have acted in a way that actually made it come true. However, if one would approach the same day with the idea that it could be a good one, this expectation probably would have been met as well. So that the second one is self-fulfilling prophecies that are imposed by one person on another. So that expectations and behaviors of one person governs another's actions, such as teachers on their students is one example. This type of self-fulfilling prophecy has been shown to be a powerful force for shaping the self-concept and thus the behavior of people. The effect can be something critical to the person and society by extension. And then expectancy. We have expectations about what we will see or hear. Many times what we see is actually what we expect to see rather than what is actually occurring. These expectations are what influence our attitudes and behaviors towards others in different situations, and can end up distort the situation, the actual situation. When we behave towards others according to the way we expect them to respond, they will often react as if we expected because of our behavior. Selective perception is another way our expectations distort a given situation. It is a process of filtering out some information about others while paying more attention to different information. We tend to perceive things according to our beliefs more than as they really are, and we react accordingly. That can lead to a self-fulfilling prophecy. Projection is then refers to a tendency to place the blame for our own difficulties on others or attribute our feelings to others. For example, if you find that you dislike someone, you may decide that he or she doesn't like you as well. By deciding that this person doesn't like you, you can justify your decision not to like them as well. Thereby, you're setting yourself up for a self-fulfilling prophecy.
We also can divide some
positive impact would be, let's say, if your professor believes in you, she expects you to do well on the exam, and in accordance to that belief, she puts extra work, she gives you extra help before the exam, so actually you get an A. The example of a negative impact was actually distributed in a case to all of you as a handout. It's about how we all know about placebo and how it may have a positive impact on someone's health, even though it doesn't really affect your health. There's a concept that's called nocebo, which is the exact opposite thing. Patients who are diagnosed with cancer or other serious illnesses, tend to get worse due to the belief that something is very bad with them. And actually, that article that I distributed earlier shows the case of a person named Sam Lundy, who was treated for cancer of esophagus, which was considered fatal at that time. It was in 1974. Lundy died a few weeks later, but an autopsy revealed that his esophagus was fine. He had few cancerous spots on his liver and one on his lung, but not enough to kill him. So 3 decades later, Mather, the doctor who treated him, told the Discovery Health Channel, he died with cancer, but not from cancer. I thought he had cancer. He thought he had cancer. Everybody around him thought he had cancer. They never removed the hope. So we will never know for sure. Lundy could have fallen victim to the nocebo phenomenon. It's sort of a nasty counterpart of the placebo. People get worse because they believe they will get worse. It's almost like a negative self-fulfilling prophecy. And we also have a passive or active self-fulfilling prophecy. Passive is when the expectations do not actually change the behavior, and active is when the expectations result in a change of the behavior of that targeted individual.
So how can self-fulfilling prophecies confirm our impressions and beliefs of others? Well, everyone has heard of the saying that first impressions are lasting. Well, it turns out that first impressions made upon us can actually become self-fulfilling prophecies. For example, before taking a class, many of us might go on to rateyourprofessor.com, and we start to create impressions. You might think that the professor is warm and fuzzy, and some might think he's cruel and cold. Studies have shown that when this happens, you still leave the class with that same first impression that you had first developed. First impressions impact our perceptions. If you perceive someone to act in a particular way, that other person fulfills that expectation. You can also influence other behavior through self-fulfilling prophecies. When you make an assumption about someone, it will impact your behavior towards that person. That leads a person to form their own perception of your actions and will alter their behavior accordingly. This then reinforces your original perception, the Pygmalion effect. So, for example, parents who believe that their children will not do well in school generally tend to reduce the emphasis on grades and the importance of school. That child normally does not succeed or do well. However, if a parent believes that the children are successful and that they can excel, they generally create an environment that promote knowledge in the home, and those children tend to be more successful in school. Grace will go into more detail regarding this, but self-fulfilling prophecy can lead to stereotyping by expecting someone to act a certain way based on race, religion, gender, and much more. So, performance appraisals. Performance appraisals can demonstrate self-fulfilling prophecies. The horns and halos effect is a common phenomenon that refers to the habit that managers have of assuming that a particular employee is naturally good or bad at his job. We learned this in class of McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y managers. When you have a certain viewpoint on an employee, you look for information that's going to back that viewpoint. This influences performance appraisal. Basically, higher expectations will lead to higher performance, and lower expectations will lead to low performance. Attribution bias is a cognitive bias that is concerned with why a person acted in a particular way. So, as a manager, if you believe that an employee's poor performance is due to laziness, your development plan is going to be different than if you believe that it was linked to an unclear job description. So, how you think a particular behavior is caused has a direct bearing on the way you approach the situation. Self-bias is basically your inner self-fulfilling prophecy. So if a performance appraisal shows the employee that he or she is performing well, the employee will continue to perform well. If the review shows poor performance, the employee will continue to perform poorly. Employees will naturally change to fit the perception that the performance review will create.
So psychologists believe that self-fulfilling prophecy leads to stereotypes. So what are the stereotypes? So stereotypes are defined as characteristics assigned to groups of people involving gender, race, national origin, and other factors. Stereotypes correspond to expectations about behavior or ability that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. For example, if girls are stereotyped as no good at mathematics, so some girls don't even try to excel at the subject, so resulting in low average math scores among the girls. So the stereotype is confirmed, and the prophecy of low performance is fulfilled. Okay, let's move to our case. How Starbucks saved my life. So this book is about Michael Gill, who had a high status job as an executive and a advertising company. But later, life changed. He was laid off from his job. He got a divorce, and he was diagnosed with a brain tumor. So things were pretty bad. And then, at the lowest point of his life, Crystal gave a job at Starbucks. And this entry-level job just gives him everything he needed in his life. So this story shows the power of self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our show tonight. How Starbucks saved my life.
In our first scene, we'll see how expectation of success leads to success. In this scene, Michael is a young child who's years behind his peers in learning to read. Mike's school principal has been wavering faith in his capability, and during a meeting with his parents,
I don't understand. Why do you make me can't read? He's in the 7th grade.
Michael will read when he is ready.
one day, just before graduating her school to move to the 7th grade, Miss Markham, the principal, asked him to come to her home. She asks him to read to her.
Michael, here's a note. Will you read it to me?
Michael Gates is destined to be great?
You are destined to be great. I don't care what you do or don't do. You will be great. Do you hear me? You will be great.
In our next scene, Mike's manager, Crystal, has a positive attitude about bathroom cleaning. So Mike is enthusiastic about this task. He finds a feeling of success and personal accomplishment from doing a great job cleaning the bathroom.
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
How do you feel about doing some cleaning today?
Well, I've never cleaned a bathroom before. Someone else used to clean my bathroom in my office.
Actually, we have a grass problem in our bathroom today. So actually, I should say we have a grass opportunity.
I would love to help.
Mike, I have never seen anybody clean with such enthusiasm. Good
I
job.
love it. Thank you.
In our final scene, we'll see Mike learning to use the cash register at work. He has difficulties with the accuracy, sometimes coming in far over or under what he should have. At one point, this difference is significant enough to be grounds for a write-up, but eventually,
I'd like a skinny vanilla latte, please.
Skinny vanilla latte.
Vanilla latte.
try and summarize our presentation as to what it really is all about.
Short video.
That should be like also MBA students or into the school, but I had to put in that should be like MBA students or whatever school that had to describe it. I hope I'm traveling soon. Traveling soon.
I did, but I forgot.
Something about being happy. Happiness.
If you believe in the best, or if you
No,
believe
the
you're
best
the
are not
best,
always happiest, but the happiest are always the
Look at Ben, he said
I got a self-fulfilling prophecy for what we're all doing.
it's
Do
in your
not give
email.
up. Beginning is always the hardest.
Start using this with my MBA students, I think. And it sounds like you got a lot out of it too. Tom was saying that you read the book, I hope you don't mind me repeating this, and maybe some of you feel this way too, that you read the book and you, yeah, it's interesting, it's a good story, but then you went back and analyzed it in terms of your assignment, you could see so much more into it. So I had some really great lessons learned from this book. So anyway, why don't we take a short break, and then when we come back, we'll watch the video, and I should